Yesterday's tea. Okay. Oh my gosh. Just got my sign wet. I just spilled tea on my sign. Oh, it's backwards. Good rising, great awakenings. Thank you for tuning in. I'm still getting the place warmed up here. Still getting warmed up. I had the heater running and then it ran out of propane. So now it's freezing cold. I had to go get another heater. Good rising. Thank you so much for tapping the screen. I just spilled tea on my sign. Good rising, great awakenings. Welcome to Good Rising TV. We say good rising because God is good and we are gods and God is rising in our divinity, rising in consciousness and awareness. It's not because the sun is rising. It's because we are rising. I've been saying good rising for almost 20 years now. Oh, almost 30 years? Yikes. It was before people were saying grand rising. But that's neither here nor there. My name is, Constance is here. Great awakenings. My name is Tachia Ahmed El Ma'at, aka Arvit Netra Esemeri Ma'ati. And this is a presentation of Good Rising TV brought to you by Life Being Wellness and Asmatashi Temple. Thank you, Miss Butterfly. I'm going to get my glasses for tapping the screen. Thank you very much. This is Skinny that's visiting me today. Yeah, so we have Neterian devotion on Thursdays where we talk about different aspects of a Neterian spiritual practice. And what is a Neterian? A Neterian is someone that follows the Neters, the Neteru. Neters are gods and goddesses, cosmic forces of nature that were used to create, to manifest, by Khepri. Khepri is the creator of the gods and goddesses. Khepri created and manifested this wonderful experience for us, and we can do the same by learning how to use the Neteru to manifest, to create, not just to worship or idolize. I forgot to pour my water. We're advised to become gods and goddesses ourselves, to become like the gods and goddesses, which means to become a god or goddess. And I'm making some tea because it's so cold. Goddess Aset, who we all know and love in many different aspects, first entered the myth as a lady. She was a regular human like you and me, and she became fed up with her existence as a human and wanted to become a goddess. She wanted to become like Ra. So she devised a plan, which we've talked about a lot, but I'll go into it again right now. She devised a plan to trick Ra into telling her his name, because when you know the name of someone, you know their essence. You know them. You know their frequency. You know their characteristics. You know their qualities. You know their habits. You know everything about them, not just their name. So she devised a plan. She took spittle from the sun, like dew, and mixed it with earth and created a Taffy Shepsi, a sacred serpent. She laid it in his path because, he travels across the world every day Look at the trees I created. Look at the plants. Look at the sun. Look at the flowers. Look at life. Look at all the foods. Look at all the things in life. And that's interesting because Ra, we think of Ra. Let me get my hair out of here. I look like a turtle. We think of Ra as the creator, but Ra is actually creation. Kepri or Kepra is the creator. Ra represents the ego of creation. So he was like admiring himself, his work, and he gets bit by this tapishepsi that was made by Aset. It's not a natural snake. So when he got bit, he was poisoned, and there was no cure. There was no cure for the venom because it was formulated by Aset. I'm gonna put the lid on. And so he's over there dying. Let's see, I have the artwork. I found it. He's over there like, I've got the fevers, I've got the chills, and I made a joke. Oh, he's got that CV thing we can't say on the internet. I forgot. So here he is about to pass out and die. Other gods and goddesses weren't able to help him, and he's like, oh, I'm so hot, I'm so cold, I'm shivering, I'm sweating, I'm sneezing, I'm coughing, I've got mocos. And this is Ra. And Aset comes by and says, oh, looks like you've caught a cold. What's the matter? And he's telling her all this stuff. And she's like, oh, that's too bad. Well, if you tell me your name, I have the antidote. I'll give you the antidote. He's like, I can't tell you my name. If you know my name, you'll have the same powers as me. You'll have my essence. You'll be able to create and manifest on your own. And she says, well, you can die if you want to, but if you tell me your name, I have the antidote right here. So, of course, he tells her his name. And she becomes one with Ra, and she transforms herself into a goddess. And she leaves instructions. Like I said, we've gone over this before. I'm not going to go over the myth today. But here's the book by Dr. Mwada Ashby where he goes over the myth in detail. Here's a image of the papyrus that was left with specific instructions on how to become a god or a goddess. It's like right here. It's right here in these the hieroglyphs, right? So she left specific instructions for us to follow. So it's up to us. If you want to become a god or goddess, we just follow the mystery path of Aset. I would recommend you go to EgyptianYoga.com and study with the spiritual preceptors over there, or you could just hang out with me. I have a lot of jokes. I'm not as serious as they are. I'm Sirius, which is another expression of the goddess Aset. So all we have to do is follow her instructions. And so on Thursdays, we talk about, oh, thank you so much, Skinny. You're being so generous with your finger today. Thank you. On Thursdays, we talk about the different Neteru. We talk about different aspects of a Neterian spiritual practice. Why do I say Neterian instead of Kemetic? Because when we say Kemetic, we're limiting ourselves to that particular place in time. It's ancient Kemet. It's in ruins. It's overrun by Arabs. It's just not the way it used to be. However, the wisdom and the energy, if you go there, you'll feel the energy. But, you really aren't allowed to go into the temples and make offerings or meditate or sing or chant. If you do that, they'll fine you. I knew this guy who took his shoes off inside the temple. He took off his sandals, was walking around barefoot. He was arrested, okay? So when we say Kemet, your mind automatically goes there. But when we say Neterian, that could be anywhere. Every indigenous culture that I'm aware of has their own way of following the Neteru. It may not be Kemetic per se, but it's Neterian. And my objective is to bring the knowledge that I've learned from studying Kemet over to Tameri and activate the Neteru that are here, that are indigenous to this land. On Tuesdays, we study the Olmec, the Quechua, the Maya, Lakota, Cherokee traditions and see how they line up with the Neterian traditions I've learned about from Kemet. And on Thursdays, we specifically talk about the Neterian traditions from ancient Kemet. And eventually, I'd like to invite people who have other practices like the Orisha or other traditions to come on here with me so we can talk about the Neteru. So that's a good introduction. Let's start with a song from the teachings of Goddess Aset. Let me get a drum. Before that, we always start with Anpu. We have to start with Anpu because you have to open the way. And so let's do that. And eventually I will start having the online temple offerings as a subscription service. I just haven't figured that out yet. So we're just here. Oh, just comment. Yes, heat is important. I have a wood burning stove on my bus, but I'm not sure if it will be enough for Virginia, Maryland winter. I feel like her. I'm done being a human and dealing with these human problems. Yes. Well, Constance, you might consider getting a small portable propane heater. That's what I had to. That's what I chose to resort to because it costs $3,000 a month to heat the building with natural gas. So I use propane. So you can see I have a little propane heater there, and it's great. And then I have another one on this side, but that tank ran out of gas. So here I'll show you my wonderful propane heater there. And then this is the other one I have. Oops, what is it? That ran out of gas just before we went live today. So please check those out. They're very economical, and you can always find a propane refill place. All right, so let's start with the song for Anpu. Oh, Anpu, opener of the ways. Oh, Anpu, opener of the ways. Remove obstacles to my success in my spiritual practice. Oh, Anpu, opener of the ways. Oh, Anpu, opener of the ways. Lead souls through the narrow pathways to know the difference between real and unreal. Oh, Anpu, opener of the ways. Oh, Anpu, opener of the ways. Mesh between heaven and hell. Face black as night, golden as the day. Equally watchful by night as by day. Oh, Anpu, opener of the ways. Oh, Anpu, opener of the ways. May Anpu make my thighs firm so that I can stand upon them. Oh, Anpu, opener of the ways. Oh, Anpu, opener of the ways. I've washed myself in the waters where Anpu washed himself, where he was the officer of embalmer and bandager. Oh, Anpu, opener of the ways. Oh, Anpu, opener of the ways. My lips are the lips of Anpu. 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 All right, do Anpu, opener of the ways. Yes, you can find that song on my first Kemetic devotional album, the Neterian devotion album, Blue Lotus Speaks, Volume 1, Anpu, opener of the ways, on your favorite music platform. Yes, of course. I have to push my music. That's what this is all about, putting the teachings to music. What's the point of having the teachings to music if you don't know the teachings? So that's why I'm doing these transmissions to just talk, and eventually we'll get back to the devotional offerings. Yes, Constance, it's very important. We're not going to make it in this earthly experience if we're not tuned into our divinity. It's just going to be a dreadful journey if we're not tuned into the divinity. Okay, so now the song I was going to start with. These are the instructions that Aset left to us. Basically, it's summed up in these 4 verses of this song. And when I was taking the class with Dr. Ashby, he said, if you can do these 4 things, you will have it made in the shade. So what's the name of the song? Made in the Shade. I want to make sure I have translation perfectly. Just give me a minute here. I sure miss singing all these songs. I don't know where it is. It's got to be in this one. Here we go. I found it. Okay. Now, like I said, I haven't been doing my regular devotion. I've been so focused on the renovations, and I'm looking forward to getting back. So I'm going to read the translation first, okay? If you're wondering, these are pinhole glasses. They force your eyes to focus, thereby making your eyes stronger instead of magnifying what you look at, which makes your eyes weaker. They were banned by the FDA in the United States for 25 years, and now you can buy them without being afraid of them confiscating your investment like they did to me back in 2007. Yes, you can get them at my website. And soon, very soon, I'm going to get them added to the TikTok shop, even if they're I'm not going to say it. Okay, so here's the translation. Antek Bagad means relentless pursuit of Nahas. Nahas is enlightenment, which is the objective of life, the objective of a spiritual practice, so that you live your life in such a way so you don't have to reincarnate. That's the goal of having this type of spiritual practice, is so you don't have to come back. Hana means and, H-N-A. Anken means unending, or it's not just infinite, it's unending, meaning you never stop. Like the example he gave is a bird that's flying flying south for the winter. It doesn't even stop to rest on a branch. It's an unending journey. Hana and Seifu means patience, endurance, even while sleeping. Meaning you never give up on yourself. You never give up on the journey. And it's easy to get discouraged and, oh, thank you for the follow, and to be impatient and let doubt overtake you once you've made a commitment to the journey. Like I'm committed to transforming this property that I inherited from my ancestors into a wellness center artist studio. It is, and there's been a couple of times where I thought I was going to give up, I was going to move. My spirits are like, do not sell the building. Like that's what they are saying loudly. So I'm committed to that. Even when I'm asleep in the cold, I'm like, it's going to happen. It's happening. I'm meeting the right people. It's going to be fine. Majed, insisting with confidence and patience, perseverance, standing up and staying stood up regardless. Like Constance here, who is committed to this new lifestyle. She's living totally mobile, no rent, none of that. She's living in a converted bus, right? Yeah, which I have considered, but not in Chicago. And then the next verse, kak ab, means let it go, letting go, let go of the past, let go of the trauma, let go of the wounds. If you were with us yesterday, I've been working on healing this big wound in my heart and my heart chakra from the estrangement from my daughter and their dad, my ex-husband. I don't want to be back together with him, but I want our family to be together again. And so my spirit guides convinced me that they're not ready to catch this bus or jump on the ship with me. I could wait for eternity, and they don't want to ride with me, or they're not ready. So I have to leave. My boat is taking off my journey. I've got to leave them. So Kakab, when I sing Kakab, I'm really going to be feeling it. Then Jedina Rinake is tell me thy divine name, thy name divine. That's what I was talking about when I said wanted to know Ra's name. She wanted to be like Ra. And then Uhau, trust, surrender. Surrender to your divinity. Surrender to your higher self. Surrender to truth. Surrender to enlightenment. Surrender to trusting yourself. No matter how crazy you look, no matter how crazy people think you are, just trust. Okay? And this is like the song I always sing on these Thursdays. I'm going to have to move to my repertoire, but I love starting with Aset. Okay. So imagine this song recorded with a huge band, like a symphony. It's what they call Afro-Cuban music. We've got like a huge percussion session stay area with like congas, xylophone, marimbas, the chimes, the timbales, like all the percussion of Latin American. I hate that word. I hate to use that word, but you know what I mean. Afro-Cuban, salsa, like so many rhythms, all of them, right? And then we're going to have a blazing horn section with the saxophone and the trombone and the trumpet and the baritone and even a flute right? Because this is Neterian devotional music. It's not just in the past. It's like today, right? And then we're going to have an upright bass, not an electric bass, but a boom 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 boom, right? And then the electric guitar. I have an electric guitar because you got to have that for the solos. And then me on the keyboards, maybe a piano playing the motunos. So visualize that while I'm playing on this little drum. Antet begat hena, anken hena, sefu hena, majed. Antet begat hena, anken hena, sefu hena, majed. Let it go, letting go, let it go, gab, gab. Let it go, letting go, let it go, gab, gab. Let it go, let it go, let it go, gab, gab. Letting go, letting go, letting go, gab, gab. Jedina renake. Jedina renake. I hear the whole orchestra. It makes me feel so good to know that eventually it will happen. Good Rising Great Awakening. Thank you for those of you tuning in today. My name is Tachia. Thank you for tapping the screen and for tuning in. So that was an offering of a song, Made in the Shade. It's from the Wisdom Teachings from the Myth of Ra and Aset. You can read all about it in this amazing book by Dr. Mwada Ashby. You can go to his website, egyptianyoga.com, and eventually take the class. You have to go through some introductory level classes before you can take this one. But if you're interested in Neterian spirituality, Kemetic spirituality, if you're interested in getting in touch with your intuition, if you're interested in identifying your ego and learning how to conquer your ego, learning how to deal with egoism in others, I definitely recommend going to egyptianyoga.com. That's what I did. I studied with them for almost 12 years. And I just had to step back so I could get get this temple in order. But I highly I highly recommend checking them out. Okay, let's see if my tea is still warm. Doesn't leak. I hope you're warm and dry wherever you are. Oh my goodness, I just made a mess. Hope you're warm and dry. Yesterday, it wasn't on all the way. Yesterday, right when it was time for me to leave to go to the Pueblo market where I do sound healing, one of the pipes burst in the bathroom up above me. So water was spraying down the walls. And then when I went downstairs to shut off the water, I locked my keys in the basement. But anyway, okay. Let's see. What are we going to do today? Oh, I know. I've been enjoying reading from their prayer book. So I'm going to keep doing that. This is the devotional manual for Shitao Neter, Temple of Shitao Neter, which means hidden divinity. Neter, we should know that word by now. Neter means divinity. It could mean god or goddess. Neterized goddess. Neteru is plural, gods and goddesses. Shitao means hidden. We have a hidden divinity. And we go through different initiations and practices to reveal our divinity to ourselves because we're not trained to know about it. You can make offerings, you study the divinity, you meditate on the divinity, you can move like the divinities. You can chant their names. There's so many ways to connect with the cosmic forces of nature, and then take it one step further, which is my path, or what I'm investigating. I don't know. I don't have any receipts yet. I'm taking you through my own investigative process. On October 17th, 2022, I experienced a green flash sunrise. Good rising, great awakening. Thank you for tapping. And during the green flash sunrise, which is it's like a rainbow, only the whole world is green. It only lasts a few seconds. It's a one in a lifetime experience. And I was rock bottom depressed at that time. I was really going through a lot. And I fell asleep in the living room, and I woke up. Something woke me up. It's like somebody tapped me on my head or my shoulder, and I woke up and everything was green. I ran to the window, everything was green, and then it was gone. And then I downloaded this information about learning to manifest, to create my reality that's in my heart and my mind, that's filled with the cosmic mind of Jehuti into my infinite mind, into my brain. We've talked about that before. By meditating, chanting, visualizing, becoming the Neteru by this meditation technique with the ideal solids. And maybe we'll go through that later. The ideal solids, they're called the platonic solids, but they learned that from the Kemetic priests and priestesses. So we call them ideal solids. And then combining each one of the ideal solids with one of the Neteru. For example, Aset is going to be right here for awakening intuition, connecting to intuition, right? And then Ma'at is the heart. These are not the chakra placements. These are the ideal solid placements that I downloaded. So you're not going to find this anywhere else. Not that I'm bragging about it, but you can't say, oh, such and such says this about it, because no one else I know of is talking about this. So. But anyway, we'll get to that later. So at this temple, Asmatashi temple, it's based on the Neter, Natchez, and Kemet. But we have Neter cultures that I'm aware of in Dogon, Mali, Turtle Island, Cherokee, Lakota. Those are the ones of my lineage. South America, Peru, Quechua, and Mexico, the Olmec Maya. It's a serious galactic culture that we all share. So we say the Neters, we're talking about the forces of nature, and learning how to activate them in ourselves and learn how to use them to create. I'm repeating myself. Okay, so Shatao Nectar Hidden Divinity, how to uncover the divinity within you, and then Asmati Temple, how to manifest with the divinity within you. So let's continue with our reading from the book. I think Words of Power, and we stopped here, page 19. And I also have this page marked. Okay. All right. So I'm just going to do a little reading from here. I hope you are able to glean some truth and apply it to your own spiritual practice, whether it's Orisha. I don't know what your practice is. It could be Buddhism. It could be, another thing is it's pre-colonial, pre-invasion, pre-Caucasity, no Western imperialism, which means the three world religions of Western imperialism. We don't include that. Those are not Neterian. We only refer to them when learning about how to communicate this with people that still practice in that way. So only indigenous or aboriginal traditions are observed at Asmachi Temple. So we're reading the chapter on words of power and meditation, Hekau. Hekau is sacred words of power or chanting. And so I think we read the first three paragraphs. So we're on this one. Hekau can be directed towards worldly attainments or towards spiritual attainment in the form of enlightenment. There are words of power for gaining wealth or control over others. We will present Egyptian, Indian, and Christian words of power, which are directed to self-control and mental peace, leading to spiritual realization of the higher self. It's interesting how Dr. Ashby does not recognize or observe any of the indigenous practices of Tamerica. You see that he has Egyptian, which is African. He has Indian, which is the East, and Christian, which is people of the North. But he does not include us. As you can see, where is it? The Spiral Dance Medicine Wheel, there behind me, includes all four directions. And at this temple, we do not acknowledge the traditions of the invaders, only for educating or correlation. You may choose from the list according to your level of understanding and practice. If you were initiated into a particular hekau or mantra by an authentic spiritual preceptor, we recommend that you use that one as your main meditative sound formula. You may use others for singing according to your inclination in your leisure or idle time. Also, you may use shortened versions for chanting or singing when not engaged in formal practice. For example, if you choose Om Amun Rakata, you may also use Om Amun. Reciting words of power is like making a well. If a well is made deep enough, it yields water. If the words of power are used long enough and with consistency, they yield spiritual vibrations, which reach deep into the unconscious mind to cut through the distracting thoughts and then reveal the deeper you. If they are not used with consistency, they are like shallow puddles which get filled easily by rain, not having had a chance to go deeply enough to reveal what lies within. Don't forget that your movement in yoga should be balanced and integrated. Therefore, continue your practice of the other major disciplines we have described, along with your practice of reciting the Hekau. Mental recitation is considered to be the most powerful. However, in the beginning, you may need to start with recitation aloud until you are able to control the mind's wandering. If it wanders, simply return to the words of power, Hekau. Eventually, the words of power will develop their own staying power. You will even hear them when you are not consciously reciting. They will begin to replace the negative thought patterns of the mind and lead the mind towards serenity and from here to spiritual realization. When this occurs, you should allow yourself to feel the sweetness of reciting the divine names. So that's an interesting note. You can chant with your voice aloud. The words sound power into your environment to realign the molecules And then also inside your mind silently to, I guess it's a way to purify your limited mind. I wouldn't say one is more important than the other because we are having a physical experience. So we need the sound, the vibrations to transform the things in our physicality and our spirituality. But and then silently in the mind has its own advantages and benefits. So I would say both. As a chantress, I definitely um, vocalize the sound because I know the power of sound and sound healing. And I also am aware of just purifying the mind and the heart. Okay, so this next paragraph is pretty long, but I'm going to read it. As discussed earlier, Hekau may be used to achieve control over the mind and to develop the latent forces that are within you. Hekau or mantras are mystic formulae which an inspirant uses in a process of self-alchemy. The chosen words of power may be in the form of a letter, word, or a combination of words which hold a specific mystical meaning to lead the mind to deeper levels of concentration and to deeper levels of understanding of the teaching behind the words. Let me just have a side note. That's why I put the teachings to music because that makes it easier for me to remember them. And then when the wisdom teaching is combined with rhythm and music, it really does something to the body more so than just sitting chanting Om Amun Rapata, Om Amun Rapata. I have Om Amun Rapata. Because then it activates your creative juices. You know, your body's moving, swaying to the music, to the movement. It's realigning every cell in your body. You know, and then you remember, like to say, know it by heart, and you know it by heart. So that's why I sing the teachings. That's why I'm a chantress. Okay, I lost my page. Oh, you may choose one for yourself, or you may use one that you were initiated into by spiritual preceptor. Also, you may have a special hekau for meditation, and you may still use other hekau, prayers, hymns, or songs of praise according to your devotional feeling. I have a very strong devotional feeling, maybe too much. Once you choose a hekau, the practice involves its repetition with meaning and feeling. That's very important. There's a term sa, S-A-A, which means knowing with feeling. It's one thing to know a fact or to know a bit of information, but until you actually feel it, it's not going to have a power of transformation. You have to know the teachings and feel them. Like after all those years of studying, I feel the myth of Aset. I have like 8 songs already from that myth. And when I sing them, I feel the teachings. I feel the power of the wisdom teachings surrounding me and nurturing me, protecting me, helping me, guiding me, loving me. Because I love the teachings. What did I say? I'm addicted to the wisdom teachings. I'm obsessed with the teachings. And I'm also obsessed with sharing them with others. It's not enough for me to just have this experience to myself. I got to share it with others. And if there's anyone on TikTok that wants to join in the discussion, just send me a little heart or something. Let me know you want to talk about this. Sometimes when I invite random people on, they just want to talk about shoelaces or something. And I want to stick to this topic. Once you choose the hekau, the practice involves its repetition with meaning and feeling to the point of becoming one with it. You will experience that the words of power drop from your mind and there are no thoughts but just awareness. Yes. When you chant for like 15 minutes or an hour, you meditate 15 minutes or an hour, but when you chant and then meditate, it's really powerful. This is the soul level where you begin to transcend thoughts and body identification. You may begin practicing it out loud verbally and later practice it in silence mentally. At some point, your level of concentration will deepen. At that point, your mind will disengage from all external exercises and take flight into the unknown uncharted waters of the subconscious, the unconscious, and beyond. Simply remain as a detached witness, witnessing consciousness of Amun, and allow yourself to grow in peace. Listed below are several hekau taken from ancient Egyptian texts. They may be used in English or in ancient Kemetic according to your choice. Okay, so we read that. Let's see, where does he have the hekau listed? Okay. Okay, well, I'll come back to this page next week. Let's see some of the chants that he has here. He has here some chants here. So let's do some call and response. I'm going to chant the heck out, and then you repeat after me. I know I can't hear you, but you can try it. And usually we just do 4 times when we're in like a group setting. But if one of these really resonates with you after, or you could turn off the live stream and do it on your own, or you could just do it after the live stream, but you just repeat it for like, you can set the timer for like 15 minutes, or just let your mind tell you when to stop. And I have melodies for some of these, but not all of them. So this part is just going to be kind of improv. And so Nook Poo, NUK space PU means I am that, or whatever you're going to say after that. Nook Poo. You put in anything, any Neteru that you're comfortable with, or your tutelary, you would just put that in. But for now, this one is Nook Poo Neter. Nook Poo Neter. Nook Poo Neter. Nook Poo Neter. And that means I am the supreme divinity. I am the supreme Neter, the supreme divinity. So I can get all the way in here. Okay. Let's do another one. Nook Poo Aset. Nook Poo Aset. Nook Poo Aset. Nook Poo Aset. I am Aset. I am Isis. I am this divine mother. I am divine intuition. I'm the mother of wisdom. I am supreme healer. I am reconstitutor. I rescue the soul. I protect the soul. Those are qualities of Aset. Okay, so this one is kind of long. I'll do it. I'm gonna read the whole thing, say the whole thing, and I'll say it in parts. When I say it in parts, you can try to repeat after me. Nook Poo Neter. No, that's not Nook. Nook Neterau Kapur Tesef. I am the great God, self-created. So I'm gonna do the first part. Nook Neterau Kapur Tesef. Nook Neterau Kapur Tesef. One more time. Nook Neterau Kapur Tesef. To Kesef. Let's try that again. Nook Neterau Kapur to Kesef. It's TCH. So that can be pronounced to Jesef or to Kesef. I am the great God, self-created. Okay, these are I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna recite the whole line, and then I'll break it into parts. Ba'ar Pet Sat Arta. Soul is of heaven, body is of earth. Body belongs to the earth. Ba'ar Pet Sat Arta. Thank you, Dua. Ba'arped. Satarta. Ba'arped. Satarta. One more time. Ba'arped. Satarta. Ba'arpet Satarta. Soul is of heaven, body belongs to earth. So you would just repeat that. You can recite it like for a certain amount of time, certain amount of minutes, like 13 minutes or 20 minutes. Or you could say, I'm going to chant that 100 times. How do you chant 100 times? Well, there's several ways. Let me have some of this tea. There's several ways you can do that. You can get one of those, what is it? Amala. It's beads from the Hindu tradition that has 108 beads. So you just move along the bead. Wait, I think I know where my, let me just show you. They were actually where they were supposed to be. That is a miracle. Okay. So this is Amala beads. I think these are graphite. It's 108 beads. And so you would just go, Ba'arped Satarta, Ba'arped Satarta. Move to the next one. Ba'arped Satarta. Move to the next one. Ba'arped Satarta. And so that way you don't have to keep track of the numbers and you just go around this and say, oh, I've done 108. And then if you want to do 1,000, you just like mark one that you've done this once, and you just go through until you've done it 1,000 times. That's one way. Or I don't know if I still have the app on my phone. Spiritual tools. No, I don't have one on here right now. But there's actually apps you can download for counter, and you would just tap it and it would keep track. Let me see if I can find it real quick. App Store. Mantra. Was it mantra counting? Mantra counter. I think that's what it is. Mantra counter. Mantra counter. Yeah, that's not the one I had, but I'm sure it works. Mantra counter. It's downloading. It's not the one I had. Let's see if I can find another one. Counter chant. Okay, yeah, there's a whole bunch of them. If you just put counter, there's a whole bunch of them. I'm trying to find the one I had. It's like prayer beads. Let's see if I can open the one I opened. Mantra counter. Mantra counter. Syncing right now. Oh, sorry, it's taking forever. Okay, I don't know. It's too complicated. Anyway, you just say the mantra and you just tap. And it keeps track of your counting. And the one I like to use when you don't have a device. Good rising, great awakenings. Thank you. We're just going over different aspects of a Neterian spiritual practice. Right now we're talking about when you want to keep track of how many times you've chanted. So my favorite technique, I learned this from Babaji's Kriya Yoga. Use your hands, use your knuckles. So you don't use the thumb, you have your 4 fingers, and you have 4 lines on each finger, right? Where am I? 1 before the knuckle, after the knuckle, and where it joins your hand. So that's 4. So each hand is 16. So you just go I do Om Am Rapata, 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 Om Am Rapata. So that's 16, right? So you go to the other hand. So after you do 16, you mark it off here. So I've done 1 round of 16. Then I've done 2 rounds of 16. Then I've done 3 rounds of 16, 4 rounds of 16. It's actually like mudras, you know? And so that's how I keep track of my chants and fire breaths. I'm doing fire breaths. I want to do 1,000. So 16 times 16 is, what is it? 16 times 16. I should know by now. I want to say 256, but I'm probably not. It's probably not right. 16 squared. I was right, 256. So after you've gone through 16 rounds of 16, you have 256. You want to do 1,000, you just do that 4 times, right? So that's how you can keep track of the number of times that you've chanted, if you want to try that. And so he's got, there's so many chants you can use. I know that he has a chart. I don't know if it's in this book, of what you can achieve by chanting 1,000 times or 10,000 times, or somewhere in one of his books he has it all. Oh, here it is. I found it. Words of Power Chanting Guide, right? So he has the Om, if you're going slow, medium, or high, 140, 250, 400. How many times per hour? 400 times, 8,400 times per hour, 15,000 times per hour, 24,000 times per hour. And then different chants that are longer, like Om Asara Set Haru, like that. He's got the basic chants. 42 precepts of Ma'at. So, there's different. I don't get into. I haven't gotten it that far. I either use this, try to do 1,000, or I set my timer. The way I have my practice set up right now is, since you have listening to the teachings, reflecting the teachings, meditating on the teachings. That's Temple of Aset. Then you have devotion. You have the yoga postures. You could do breathing exercises. You could do meditation. You could do dancing. What else? I guess that's about it. Is there anything I'm missing? Well, anyway, but to be able to do each one of those things for an hour will take like all day. And I got really discouraged when I wasn't able to meditate for an hour every day, or do yoga for an hour every day, or do devotion for an hour. And I was like super depressed, because if I couldn't do the whole thing, I wasn't doing it at all. I wasn't doing anything. And my therapist noticed this pattern. She said, well, did you do your spiritual practice? I said, no, I didn't do my spiritual practice because I was working on this project and I took all my time, and I just didn't have time to do laundry, and I didn't have time to take a shower and do the oblations before you do the devotion. I didn't have time to clean up this space since I did the work yesterday. So I haven't done it in 5 days. And she says, well, what are you going to do if you can't spend an hour a day on everything? I said, I don't know. And so she said, break it up into parts. So I do. My lucky number, my good fortune number is 13. So I do everything 13 minutes. I chant 13 minutes. I meditate 13 minutes. I do devotion 13 minutes. I do the postures 13 minutes. I study 13 minutes. I do sound heal. That's the other one. I do sound healing on myself 13 minutes. That's my full spiritual practice. And so when I do everything 13 minutes, that's like an hour and a half. And then on days that I don't have an hour and a half, I do everything 5 minutes. I do 5 minutes chanting, 5 minutes meditation, 5 minutes devotion, 5 minutes study, 5 minutes yoga postures, 5 minutes of sound healing. And on days that I only have 5 minutes, I just do one thing. I just choose one of those things. And since I would always choose devotion, I have a chart. I keep track of, well, I did 5 minutes of this yesterday, so I'm going to do 5 minutes of this today. Or I did 15 minutes of 3 things yesterday, so I'm going to do 15 minutes of 2 things today. And that is how I've been able to maintain my practice. it's not perfect. It's not an hour of everything a day. But if I only have 5 minutes, I make those 5 minutes count, and it has been able to sustain my frequency and my vibration. Let me move this heater so it's blowing on me instead of behind me, because my back is warm. I don't want my front to be warm. Okay. Yeah, so that is the secret to my keeping up with my practice. That's why I had to take a break from the temple activities, because once you attend an hour and a half lecture, and then you're also an hour and a half on the devotion, then I'm not able to keep up with the other aspects of my practice that mean so much to me. And then also the different Neteru, not just the Kemetic Neteru. I also have an altar for Lakshmi, the goddess of love and beauty. She connects to Heteru. And then also have one for Muruga. And then, of course, I have my medicine wheel practice of Turtle Island. So I just had to expand and also become more precise, more consistent with not just doing my favorite thing. Like I love to meditate since I got that new meditation, but I have to keep up with the postures, and I have to keep up with the sound healing. I have to keep up with the studying. That's why these live streams are helpful for me, because I'm doing 5 minutes of my practices. But if you want to know the secret, if you've been trying to follow the devotional technique of Dr. Ashby and Temple of Chaitanya Netar, that is one way to get by, is to just do what you can and be grateful for that. If you can only do 5 minutes, be grateful that you took the 5 minutes. One of my mistakes, especially now that it's cold, when I get up, first thing I got to do is get warm. And then by the time I'm warm, it's time to do the next thing. And so I have to reprogram myself for the winter time, to, even though I'm not able to take a shower right away because it takes so long to warm up the space, I've got to do it anyway, or I've got to do, another way to do the ablution during the winter time. Not fall into the habit of, oh, it's too cold, it's going to take an hour for the room to warm up, and then I have to leave to catch the bus or whatever. I've got to stop making the cold an excuse for me. So, okay, where are we with the clock here? Oh man, right in my mouth. Okay. All right. So even though I'm going to leave off there, I did want to read this last paragraph, because I guess he talks about what I was just talking about. Daily worship program instructions and time for the daily worship discipline. Short program, 30 minutes. Long program, 45, 60 minutes. My long program is like 4 hours, and my short program is 5 minutes. The program can take between 30 minutes to 1 hour, depending on which aspects of the program are enjoined. The abbreviated program is a shortened version of the discipline for those times when the shorter time is available. The asterisks above will clarify which elements are for the shortened practice and which are for the extended practice. The suggested times given above are the minimum amount you should spend on daily spiritual practices each day. Whenever possible, you should increase the times according to your capacity and ability. You should train your mind so that it rejoices in hearing about and practicing the teachings of yoga instead of the useless worldly activities. There we have right there. I have time to check my bank account. That's 5 minutes. I have time to check my TikTok. You all know that could take an hour. I have time to make sure my dog is fed. And so why am I not taking these 5 minutes for myself? That's where I'm at. The struggle within is like, I had time to make tea. I can meditate while the water's boiling. Like, there's so many things I could be doing. Where was I? Oh, okay. Follow this path gradually but steadily. That's it. Consistency is the key. Once you have established a schedule of minimal time to devote to the practices, even if you do 5 to 10 minutes of meditation time per day and nothing else, keep your schedule if at all possible. Many people feel that they do not have the time to incorporate even ordinary activities into their lives. They feel overwhelmed with life and feel they have no control. If there is no control, it is because there is no discipline. If you make a schedule for all your activities, spiritual and non spiritual, and keep to it tenaciously, you will discover that you can control your time and your life. As you discover the glory of spiritual practice, oh yeah, you will find even more time to expand your spiritual program. This is true. Ultimately, you will create a lifestyle which is entirely spiritualized. This is true. This means that every act in your life will be based on the wisdom teachings Ma'at, and therefore you will not only spend a particular time of day devoted to spiritual practices, but every facet of your life will become a spontaneous worship of the divine. And when I say this is true, I say that because this is what happened to me. This is what happened. Even cleaning is part of my spiritual practice. Sweeping and cleaning up. I used to be really, well, not used to be, I used to focus on cleaning the space before a spiritual practice time or before a client, sounding the client in this room. And then when I went to Kemet the last time, 2020, I was at the Temple of Asar. I was in the space where there is an actual, I'm gonna have to go get it because it's right in the other room. The image of Merit, the goddess of music. Give me 1 minute. Is this the right one? Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, here she is upside down. Okay. Okay, yeah, so this is the goddess of music, Marie. And I usually have it hanging up in my music studio, but I haven't put it up yet. You see? Goddess Marie in her headdress of lotus and papyrus flowers. And she's holding her hand up to make an offering. She usually has a bowl in her hand. And I took a photograph and had it turned into this. But anyway, on one side is Marit. On the other side, there's a priest with a broom. And I asked Abdelaziz or Adam, my tour guide, I said, what is this? And he says, oh yeah, after a ceremony, you have to go and clean the room, sweep the room, and mop. And then you use Neterian, which is a substance of sand, ash, and baking soda and lotus oil. And I actually do make it and sell it. After you mop your house, you have a rinse with the Neterian. So even housework is part of your spiritual practice. That's on my list too, but it's in a different, it's not part of the devotion, but it's part of my self-care. So everything, you can spiritualize washing dishes by chanting while you're washing the dishes. Everything can be spiritualized. But when I look back on my years with the Temple of Chatal Neter, I wonder, how did I make time for all of that? How did I have time to watch all of those classes and then do the homework? And then I was on the Sunday morning broadcast where they have the devotional worship live stream. Is it live stream? Yeah. And then keep up with everything at home. I don't know. I really don't know how I managed that. To this day, I don't have an explanation. Doesn't make sense other than what he's talking about. As you increase your spiritual practice, you'll be given more time for increased spiritual practices and activities. So if you just, if you have it in your mind that on days where you don't have to do anything else, you'll get to spend an hour on this or an hour on that, and then just 5 minutes on the other things, but you'll figure it out. But the most important thing is to not give up just because you don't have 3 hours a day or an hour a day or however much time you want. If you only have 5 minutes on one particular day, do 5 minutes, and on the next day, you'll hopefully have more time. Okay. I've been talking so much. And you all are here listening to me. That's amazing. But I think that was good to know about how to keep track of your chants. I think that was a good lesson, experience to talk about. Okay, so let's see. We've got a little bit more time here. Time doesn't exist, but we still have a little bit more time here for my next activity. What else do we want to do today? Oh, I said we're going to do a little bit of the meditation, right? Oh, thank you. Thank you for stopping by, for tapping the screen. All right, let's do a little bit of this meditation I've been telling you all about. I've been saying that for a while. I'm almost finished with the book on the Hesiu Neteru, the frequencies of the gods and goddesses. So it's a manual of lists of frequencies and what Neteru will correspond to that frequency. And like I say, it's my book. It's the book I use in my practice, and I'm sharing it with people. So first you go through the chakras, and I've talked about it in detail in other sessions, so I'm not going to explain it right now. You can just follow along with me. I'm just going to do my meditation. It's not a teaching one. And eventually we'll have sessions where we can go through it together. I'm just going to go through one round. I usually do 13 minutes. I'm just going to do a brief introductory one. So get in a comfortable seated position, please. You could be seated on the floor with your legs crossed in lotus posture, or like me, I'm seated on a chair right now. Let's see. Maybe I can get my feet warmer. I don't want to get too close because then I'll catch on fire, which I have done before. Caught on fire, but nothing burned. That's another story. Oh, thank you so much for joining my team. All right, so if you don't know what the ideal solids are, I apologize. I'm not going to go through them. I'll just describe them, and I'm sure you know them. I'll describe them. The first one is a sphere. It'll be on the top of your head. Then the Merkaba is the two triangles, two pyramids that make the six-pointed star if you're looking at 2 dimensions. But the Merkaba, it's 2 pyramids interlocked. And then for the throat, that's the dodecahedron. It's a 5-pointed, 5-sided shape, but 3-dimensional like a soccer ball. That's for Jehuti. For the heart, it's a diamond, which is 2 pyramids connected at the base. So the diamond for the heart, that's Ma'at. The solar plexus is the tetrahedron, which is 4 triangles connected. It's not a pyramid because it doesn't have a square base. It's a triangular base. That's the solar plexus. My favorite is the creativity chakra. The icosahedron is a 20-pointed star rotating. And then the last one is the root chakra. Geb, it's the cube. Okay, so I don't have the charts to illustrate. I hope you can visualize them. Okay. So we're gonna. And are you familiar with the torus? It's the way the energy flows around. It comes up through the ground and around like this, and then in reverse down like that. So we're gonna do those first, okay? And with this practice, you inhale 4, hold it 4, exhale 7. And I'm not gonna lead you. Say, okay, inhale 4, exhale. I'm not going to do that through the whole thing. You're just going to be on your own, okay? And when you're doing this, have in mind something that you would like to create in your life. It could be a thing, it could be a situation, it could be a person, it could be a thought, whatever it is you would like to manifest, to create in your enlightened lifestyle. That's what this is a manifestation process. And I don't have the music recorded in the background with the solfeggio frequencies, with the tones. I don't have that today. But we're just going to be focusing on the Neterian and what they represent. Okay? So let's begin. Inhale 4. Hold it 4. Exhale 7. So now we're going to begin with the torus flow of energy where it comes up from the ground. Inhale. Hold it to the top. And then exhale, and energy showers around you. Inhale. Exhale. And this is recharging and renewing, removing blocks, obstacles, pains, toxicity, etc. And then you release it to the earth. And now reverse. You inhale from the earth this way. And then releasing, detoxing to the chakras. Inhale. You can visualize this, the light flow of energy. Okay, now we're going to run through the chakras. These are the Kemetic names and the affirmation that goes with them. I learned from Raseki. So we're going to start at the crown chakra. Nuk Ik, I am illumination. First time. Nuk Mer, I am at peace. Put your hands on your pineal gland. I am the truth of all things. On your ears. I am one with the divine. Throat chakra. Nuk Sekem, I give thanks. Heart. Nuk Kepara, I am unconditional love. Nuk Om, I am that I am. Creativity. Nuk Tek, I am filled with light. Root chakra. Nuk Sefket, I am one with the earth. I respect all life. Now the back of your solar plexus. Nuk O, I radiate joy. I'm filled with joy. The back of your creativity chakra. Nuk Tek, I love and accept myself as I am. In the back of your root chakra. I release worry, I am trust. Nuk Sefket. Now keep your left hand on your Sefket and your right hand, place it on your pineal gland. If you can see this. I create a wonderful life for myself. Now place your hands on your hips. I'm secure in my divinity. Put each hand on your ankle, one hand on each ankle, or your fingers. I love myself, I know myself, I trust myself. And now put your fingers on the balls of your feet. Divine love and light lives, moves, and flows through me. Usually I recite these. Sometimes I recite silently, sometimes out loud. All right, now we're going to move through the solfeggio frequencies. Again, I don't have the frequencies, but we're just going to be chanting the name and the characteristic of the solfeggio frequency. So I'm starting at the top of your head. Nook Nebuchadnezzar, I'm connected to the divine. First time. Nook Ma'at, I'm restoring divine right order. Throat chakra. Nook, I said, I awaken intuition. Heart chakra. Nook need, I heal, connect, relationship. Nook Kepara, I am miracles, transformation and repair your DNA. Creativity chakra. Nook nude, I give birth to the light. And root chakra. Nuken, I am the earth. Security and stability. Nuxel can release doubt and fear. I got that mixed up. So that one is Cellcat. I release doubt and fear. All right, now we're going to go through the green flash sunrise with the ideal solids. So try to remember the shapes that I shared with you earlier. The sphere. Nook Nebuchadnezzar. First side. Nook Aset. The Merkaba. First see the Merkaba and your first eye spinning around. And now expand the Merkaba until you are inside the Merkaba. Nook Aset. Now the throat, the dodecahedron, the soccer ball. Visualize the soccer ball at your throat, spinning around. The next inhalation, expand the dodecahedron. You are seated within a giant spinning soccer ball. Nook Jehuti. Okay, now I'll move to the heart chakra. The diamond spinning around. The diamond is inside of your heart, and there's a feather of Ma'at inside the diamond. And on your next exhalation, expand the diamond until you are seated within this diamond spinning around. Nook Ma'at, my heart is light as a feather. Now go to the solar plexus, the tetrahedron, the triangular shape. Nook Ra Hetakuti, it's spinning around in your solar plexus. Next exhalation, expand the shape until you are seated within this rotating tetrahedron. Nook Ra Hetakuti, I stand with my arm. Now to your creativity chakra. Visualize the icosahedron, the 20-pointed star, spinning around. And now, the next exhalation, expand the icosahedron until you are seated within the star, spinning around. Nuk Nut, I am the light. Now place your hands over your root chakra, the cube, seated within your root chakra, spinning around. Nugen, Nukata, the manifestation of your life. The next exhalation, expand this cube until you are seated within this cube. You're projecting your life force energy through all the chakras, giving birth to your vision. Nugib, Nukata. Right now, visualize yourself inside of a crystal cave, crystal cavern, quartz crystal. Maybe it's just your aura as quartz crystal, but you're seated within this quartz crystal chamber and you become one with this quartz crystal energy, the energy of purification of your very being, your essence, every cell, every atom, every meridian, every chakra, every item in your life, every environment, everything in your life, your entire being is becoming one with this quartz crystal energy. Remember, inhale 4, hold it 4, exhale 7. Now, the crystal energy changes to celestite, which is a light blue, celestial, powdery blue crystal. And you are within this crystal chamber, cavern, whatever it is, you're inside of this crystal chamber, and then you become one with this blue celestite crystal energy, where you have access to the knowledge of all things in creation and beyond. You can access by coming to this crystal chamber. You can come here anytime. The knowledge of all existence is within you. Since we're on a limited earth plane, we can only have a certain amount of knowledge at one time. When you come to this space, you can access the knowledge of anything, everything. The blue celestite crystal energy, the knowledge of all things. Now this crystal energy is transformed to the golden lava light, melted gold. You're in a chamber filled with melted lava gold, and you become one with this gold. That activates every aspect of your being with love, wisdom, compassion, empathy, understanding, forgiveness for yourself and all others. It's pure love, golden lava energy. And now this crystal energy is transformed into the amethyst chamber, amethyst cave, amethyst crystal aura. And now you become one with the amethyst energy, permeating every aspect of your being, every aspect of life, every cell, every atom, every proton, every neutron, every drop of water, every ray of light. It's purified, activated by this amethyst light of protection. Amethyst, violet, lavender. whatever shade of light purple you desire. You could rotate between them: amethyst, violet, lavender. This crystal energy is offering you the protection you need to move forward in earth, to move forward in life. And you can shield everything in your life with this amethyst light. You can cover your home, your neighborhood is protected, your city is protected, your assets, the people you love, you surround them with this amethyst. It's like an umbrella or a veil of amethyst crystal energy. All that you love and care about and cherish is in this protection, especially you. Don't forget yourself. Whenever I go out on my bike, I just do like this, and my bike is covered in amethyst light. Amethyst light will protect you. Crystal energy. Now we move to this green crystal energy: jade, emerald, malachite, peridot. All this beautiful green crystal gem energy. This is the vibration of well-being. Your entire life is infused with this crystal energy of well-being. And you're able to share that with others, just with your hands or with your mind. The well-being of good health and healing, the well-being of wealth and abundance and prosperity, the well-being of, of reciprocity in your relationships, whatever well-being means to you, ease of mobility, ease of travel, success in your business, success in your spiritual journey, whatever well-being means to you, protection, love, abundance, safety, stability, security, infinity, enlightenment, is surrounding you and permeating every aspect of your being with this green, emerald, jade, peridot, malachite, crystallite energy. Om Pater 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 Pater. Peace, 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 peace. Ooh, that was good. That's really good, even with all my interruptions and interjections and commentary. Oh, let's see, I feel great. I'm emotional. My eyes have teared up. That doesn't usually happen in meditation. So that's a different type of meditation, isn't it? It's chanting, it's visualization, it's the Neterian, it's the chakras, it's the ideal solids, it's the frequencies, it's got crystal energy, it's got the Neterian. I think it's a winner. Yeah, I do. I feel like that's really the only meditation I do now. I know there's other meditations to do, and they're all wonderful. But that one really gets me going. I really feel, powerful and safe and confident because I've connected with the netters and the ideal solids, because when you think of the elements, the periodic table, which thanks to what's his name? Terrence Howard, we know it's a spiral, not like a linear chart. And all the elements have frequencies and they have different colors and shapes. And what was revealed to me is everything in creation is a combination of those ideal solids, those 7 shapes, 7 basic shapes. They only have 5. I add the Merkaba and the sphere. I guess the sphere is considered one, but most people focus on the 5. We have the 7. And combined with the vibrations of the chant and the breathing, this is what was revealed to me. This is what I believe. This is how Khepri created, by different combinations and proportions and amounts of these shapes activated with the sounds. I believe that's what we can use to manifest and create. That's what I've been doing. And like I shared with you before, when I started doing this, I was consistently every day for like a year or two. And then I brought myself out of that horrible space I had been in for so long. And my visions was starting to manifest. And then I got called away, called back into like worldly stuff, and I stopped the daily practice. I still do it, every now and then, but not like I was. I was doing it for like an hour or at least 30 minutes, minimum 15 minutes. That was before my therapist advised me um, to adapt my spiritual practice to my practical reality. But when I was doing it consistently, I got out of the domestic violence case. I got back in the building. I've got, things are happening, meeting people, and then I had to pause. I chose to pause. And so I'm getting back to the consistent practice. And I'm really grateful for that. So, okay, so I close out these sessions. Well, how do you feel? Does anyone have any comments on, someone is enjoying it. Anyone have any comments? Those of you that are still here, did you get to experience any of that meditation at all? I'd love to hear, your experience. Maybe you didn't, I don't know. But anyway, I've been closing out. Thank you so much. Who is this? I gotta put my glasses on to see the little letters. Ooh, Bliss Awakened. Ooh, I love that. Bliss Awakened. Yes, that is the objective, not objective, the desired state. Because what is bliss? Bliss is joy and pain. And it means that no matter what's going on, this person is awakened. No matter, like Bob Marley says, no matter what the crisis is, give Jah all your thanks and praises. No matter what's going on, remain calm. Like yesterday, when it was time for me to leave to go to the Pueblo market, and I noticed that a pipe had burst. It was spewing out hot water on the third floor. It was dripping down the walls of the second floor all the way to the basement because there's no floor due to the damage to the building. The pipes burst, and I called my contractor. He said he'd be over in like an hour. He's the one giving me the ride where I was going. I went down and shut off the water, and I locked my keys in the basement. And I sat down in my living room. I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this is happening. The guy advertised I was going to be at the market, and now I may not get to go. Because when I was calling my contractor / driver, he wasn't answering his phone. He was 20 minutes late. Spirit said, just remain calm. Everything's going to be fine. Don't worry. So I made a cup of tea. I sat down. I watched a few minutes of my favorite little show. And I just sat there and waited. And then I hear a knocking at the back of the door, at my kitchen door, which is impossible because all the back doors are locked. It's like, oh my gosh, someone is trying to break into my house. And it was my contractor. He had crawled under the garage door, which is broken, and come up to my house to tell me that he'd been waiting for me out front for 15 minutes, but he had lost his phone and couldn't call me. Normally I would have been panicking. I lost my keys. I don't know how to log. So yes, Bliss Awakened. That is the goal. It's just no matter what's going on, we're awakened. We're at a certain level of consciousness. And we're not going to let these earthly challenges bring us down, because we know there's forces at play that don't want us to remain blissful and awakened. They don't want us to chant and sing and dance. They don't want us to do meditation and devotion. They don't want people to come on live and talk about spirituality. So of course the internet is going to break. Of course, someone's going to hack my website, lightbeingwellness.com, which has been down for 2 weeks, and it's linked to pornography sites. I had no idea. 51,000 files, over 10,000 photographs, 4,000 backlinks. Am I freaking out? I'm not freaking out. Look at me. I'm not freaking out. It's going to get worked out. My website's been down for 2 weeks. Oh, well. Yeah, so that's really why we do all of this, is so that we can remain in bliss no matter what's going on, and live in such a way that we don't create more toxic REU, which is bad karma. It's worse than karma, because it's not just your actions, it's your thoughts, your words, your emotions that you express. Even if you think about like being mad at some driver that cut you off. Even you just think about, oh, I was just running over. You know, you can't even think about it. It'll come back to you. It'll come back. And you want to live in such a way that you don't develop more toxic RU, and so you don't have to come back. So that's why we do these practices. That's why I'm out here sharing about my experience so that people can benefit. And the more people that we have living in such a way they don't have to come back, the more people we have living in alignment with Ma'at, the better. Right? I mean, how can it hurt? Some people just practice for themselves and they're comfortable with that. They don't want to come back, so they just do their work and they don't care about the rest of the world. The rest of the world can go to pot. They don't care. And some people do their work so they don't have to come back and they still really care. They would say that's an attachment. I know. It's one I can live with. I can't live only taking care of myself and not helping other people find what helped me. They say, well, yes, you must be selfish. You must put yourself first. Yes, put myself first so that I can help others. Okay. So anyway, we close out always with a reading from Cosmic Science of Ancient Masters. Professor Hilton Otema was an American, aka man of the North, aka white guy, who realized that in his past life he had been a priest in ancient Kemet, and he dedicated his life to I know I already read this. He dedicated his life to sharing those wisdom teachings with African Americans because he believed that the African Americans were descendants of ancient Kemet and they were asleep and they were lost, and he devoted his life to do what he could to bring us back. So some people don't like him because he was aka a white guy, but they don't know why he was doing what he was doing. And when you read his works, you can't hate the guy. He did his job. And I like his work because, like, when I first read his books 20 or 30 years ago, I didn't know about ancient Kemet. I didn't know who the ancient masters were. A lot of the stuff he said went over my head. And now when I read it, since I know a lot more about it, I know exactly what he's talking about. And so it's fun for me. And it's also helpful because he does talk about the Bible, but not because he's a Christian, but because he wants to show people who follow Christianity the origin of the teachings, and he wants to he compares them to the Kemetic wisdom. So it's good for me to go back and read this work because it gives me more patience when I'm talking to people that are still brainwashed and spiritually enslaved. It gives me references on how to talk about certain things with them. I haven't gotten to that point yet where I can, like, quote passages from his books, but I'm gonna get there. So I have this page marked, but I don't know if I read this one already. I guess not. Okay, so I have chapter 9, the resurrection, marked. So I'm going to go ahead and read it because I wouldn't have marked it if it wasn't the right page. So. And I usually just read a page or two. And then we'll close out. Oh, is that Bess? No. Okay. Yeah. Okay, the resurrection. And so remember, when we talk about the resurrection, what are we talking about? The Asarian resurrection. We're not talking about Jesus Christos. And we're talking about the Asarian resurrection. We're talking about the resurrection of the soul, the universal soul. And we're talking about each one of us because we are the hero of the myth. So in the myth of Asarian resurrection, we're talking about our resurrection. So just keep that in mind when I'm doing this reading. Glasses on. The votaries of Christianity claim that it is a religious system based on the Bible. The Bible shows that such claim is false. Quote unquote, I believe in ... the resurrection of the body, unquote, is the fraud that everyone must swallow to embrace the Christian faith. You see why I love this guy? He doesn't hold back. Christianity consists of one, unfounded belief in a vicarious atonement; 2, stemming from the alleged crucifixion of a mythical god, Matthew 27:35; 3, who strangely and unnaturally rose from the dead, Matthew 28:7, and 4, miraculously, quote unquote, washed us from our sins in his own blood, unquote, Revelation 1:5. Such wild, fraudulent claims. And before I continue, let me say this is for edutainment purposes only. This is one of my favorite books that I really like to read. It's fun. Studying spirituality to me is fun. Comparing Western imperialist fraudulent religions with Neterian spirituality for me is fun. I'm not telling you anything you don't already know. I'm not spreading misinformation. I'm just sharing my love and passion for truth and spirituality. Such wild, fraudulent claims are contrary to all common sense and reason and to all the known laws of the universe. They are disputed, discredited, and denied by the biblical text. Such is the garbled, mutilated, and inconsistent story that could be foisted upon the world only by an age of darkness and the surreptitious, he also uses really cool words, compilation of the New Testament, which was not born until it was needed in the 4th century, and then needed only because the Old Testament could not be made to support the fraud. And we talked about this a lot last time, the Nicene Council of 354 AD, which took place in Europe, where they went around to the spiritual leaders of the various communities of the North, what they call pagans and heathens, but they were the indigenous people of the North, descendants of the melanated Aboriginal people who once lived there, and they maintained their practices as best as they could. I give them their props, the indigenous people of the North. They were mistreated by the church founders the same way they did, well, not exactly the same way, but they started there. They didn't, I won't say the same way, but it started there. And they invited the leaders to this meeting, the Nicene Council. Anyone that agreed to join their religion was able to live. Anyone that did not join the religion was murdered. And then they went back to that person's village and told the people what happened. The people had the chance to convert to Christianity or be killed. So that is how Europe became Christianized. It wasn't always that way. Okay. So that's when they came up with the religion based on the life of Apollonius of Tyana, who he talks about here. And his best book is called Mystery Man of the Bible, which is the story of Apollonius Tyana, how he became the model of the story, the mystical story of Jesus Christ. Okay, continuing. We must follow cold facts to find the goal of our search. The Bible states that we reap as we sow, Galatians 6:7. And that in death the body dissolves and returns to dust, Ecclesiastes 12:7. These natural facts and events harmonize with universal law and have been known and witnessed since the dawn of humanity, and the process is ruled by a law that has no exceptions and changes not. Exceptions belong to the realm of speculation and fiction. It is impossible to conceive that the unchangeable, in the formulation of his degrees, ever drops a thread or fails to include universal existence in one grand plan. Furthermore, in 1 Corinthians 15:50, the definite statement appears that, quote unquote, flesh and blood, the physical body, cannot inherit into the kingdom of God's spiritual realm. Neither doth corruption, the physical, inherit incorruption, the spiritual. Now, isn't that like the chant or the proverb that we recited earlier? Let's get the exact translation. Spa arpet sat artat. Soul is of heaven, body belongs to the earth. I couldn't have planned that. Okay, it also stated that, quote unquote, as we all have borne the image of the earthy, we shall all also bear the image of the heavenly. 1 Corinthians 15:49. This is not conditioned upon any belief. It includes all men, regardless of their belief. It includes all men, regardless of their belief. Mark 16:16. So he's basically showing you that certain passages from the Bible contain ancient universal truths. but they're attributed to something else. That's why the Bible does have an effect on people, but it's not the effect that they're desiring. In spite of these notorious facts, the text of that same chapter of the New Testament compilers in the 4th century twisted and distorted to make it serve their scheme. They devoted verses 12 to 22 of the chapter to a discussion of, quote, the resurrection of the dead, unquote, meaning the resurrection of the physical body, not understanding the esoteric meaning of the biblical terms resurrection and born again. The church, groping in darkness with the multitude, makes a mystery of these simple words. And just for the record, my name, Tachia, means rebirth, renewal, regeneration, rejuvenation, resurrection, and there's another one. And it translates, my birth name was Stacy, and I translated, that's Greek, I translated that, found the meaning in English, and then got a Hebrew baby name book and I reverse translated and got the name Takia or Tachia. But at the time, I didn't know about the CH in Hebrew as a K. So I told everyone my name was Tachia. And then some people said, there's no TH in Hebrew, it's Takia. I said, oh, well, there's a Cherokee warrior named Tachi, so I'm Tachia. Reverting to the ancient mysteries, Kemet, it appears that the neophyte, the aspirant, was taught by the masters that, quote unquote, the real man is neither born nor does he die. Unborn, undying, ancient, perpetual, and eternal, he has endured and will endure forever. The body dissolves and returns to dust, but he who hath occupied it remaineth unharmed and unchanged. And that's Asar, right? Asar's body was torn into parts. He was trapped in a coffin. He's turned into a tree. His wife brought him back. His brother is the one that tore him into parts. They couldn't find all the parts. His sister, his twin sisters, Aset, brought him back to life, but they couldn't find the phallus, the 13th part piece. So he was sent to the netherworld. He's the king of the netherworld where he lives in eternity. Like the same thing happens to us. It's going to happen to us. When the body dies, the soul is going to return to where it came from. And then according to the ancient masters, your soul will stay there for as long as it needs to. Either you'll move on to eternity with a star, or you'll have to come back and learn the lessons over again. So that's what they've said. I believe them. I trust them. Reverting to the ancient mysteries, it appears, I read that part. Okay, I'm almost done. It is a fact that if man comes from the spiritual world, as all religions teach, he must, under the law, return to the source of his origin. That is as obvious and certain as the law of mathematics. Moreover, nothing returns to the spiritual world because nothing comes out of it. It is not a return, but a change in manifestation, as stated by the masters. It's a change in frequency. It's a change in consciousness. You don't die. Your body doesn't make it into the spirit realm. I just got the flash of a spaceship. You know how they have the rocket boosters and the other stuff on there to help it get beyond the atmosphere of the earth. But once it gets beyond the atmosphere, that other stuff falls away or disintegrates. That's what happens to your body. Your soul and your spirit live on, but your body doesn't make it. Okay, just a few more paragraphs. We shall not all sleep, but we shall all be changed in a moment, in a twinkling of an eye. I Corinthians 15:51-52. That Hindu philosophy is 50,000 years old. It was taught to Apollonius Paul when he was in India and was initiated into the mysteries. It was copied from his writings many years after he was dead, when the New Testament was compiled in the 4th century. All right, so we'll pick up here next time. This is Cosmic Science of the Ancient Masters by Professor Hilton Otema. This is my first line of spiritual books that I studied when I first joined my path back in 1985, 84, 85 is when I first came into spirituality after I had suffered a few catastrophes at the hands of terrible men. Okay, so this has been a wonderful presentation of Good Rising TV, Devotional Thursdays, Neterian Devotion on Thursdays. I so appreciate you Bliss Awakened. Thank you for your support and your presence. Your presence is a gift to me. And I'm not sure who's still with me on YouTube. I'm pretty sure it's Constance. But thank you so much for tuning in. Good Rising, Great Awakenings, not because the sun is rising, but because our consciousness is rising. We're rising in our divinity, rising in our understanding, rising in our awareness. Great Awakening, Bliss Awakened. She knows what I'm talking about. Light Being Wellness Center and Asmataji Temple, Divine Light Healing and Sweet Sound. Thank you for your love. Thank you for your gifts. What's ahead? So tomorrow is Friday. We're going to be having the Akusaneb Tef Neteru Sima Pout yoga class in person here at the studio. We'll be doing that on Fridays. And during the month of Ophiuchus, which ends on December 18th, I don't know when, which Tuesday, but I'm supposed to start the online offering of the Akusaneb reflective movement meditation system. It's, people call it yoga, but we're not just trying to get into a posture so we can get toned butt or abs or, flabby muscles or arms, whatever. I'm not the most adept yogi. I've been doing yoga for almost 40 years, but not every day. But it is who I am. It's an aspect of who I am. Because yoga is not just the postures, it's the postures, the meditation, the breathing, the right action, the diet. It's a lifestyle. So this is a reflective movement meditation because we do go into the postures that you're familiar with. It's level 2 Kemetic yoga. It's not level 1. So I'm not like leading you, now hold your arm this way, now cross your leg, now bend over. It's not that at all. You already have to know the postures. It's level 2. But when we're in the postures, we're chanting. Dr. Ashby has this wonderful system called Tef Neteru Sima Pout. And when you get into the posture, you recite a chant. But as you know me, I do things a little differently. We're singing the chants. We're chanting in Kemetic. We're chanting in English. It's like a lot of movement. With this posture, with this yoga system, we're creating the movements of the gods and goddesses. Tef Sima Pout Neteru is Dr. Ashby's program. Mine, I call it Akusaneb. Oh, excuse me, because I include some of the other neters from other traditions. Other yoga tradition I learned from Babaji. I use some of the postures from there. And I have different passages from the Purdah Maru that are not part of Dr. Ashby's program. This is just the one that I do. It's my version. Akusaneb means light being wellness, which is the name of my program. And so it's just different. Like the meditation that we did earlier is a little different than most meditation. It's active, it's engaged, you're moving, and you're recreating the process that Kepra did. We did the meditation, which is a manifestation, right? And then this movement system is another way of learning how to manifest or create the way the gods and goddesses do with the gods and goddesses as their as your guides, basically. So on a Tuesday, not this Tuesday, the following Tuesday is the intention to start offering this as a TikTok subscription. I don't know. I believe YouTube has a similar process. I've got to figure it out. And then my goal is to offer it during Ophiuchus, start it up during Ophiuchus, right before the winter solstice. So that's what's next. And then I'll be back, of course, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday for Good Rising TV, 8 a.m. to 9:30 Central. Oh, looks like someone just tuned in on YouTube. You tuned in at the end, so you'll be able to access the replay in just a few minutes. Those of you just tuning in on TikTok, you will be able to access the replay in just a few minutes at my Kimatones YouTube channel. My music YouTube channel is banned until February because I was talking about certain things that they don't want me to talk about. And so I'm learning. I should have known, but it was in a different context. I used a word that is associated automatically with the whole thing that we can't talk about. But I was using it in a different. People have used that word for centuries. for other things. There's all kind of M dates. The government, I mean, it's like, but you can't say it. Great Awakenings, Nefertum. Wait, I don't have much light. Neferratum. Okay, I've met you before. Yes, I've met you before. Wait a minute. Is this Constance? Oh no, the pictures look similar. Okay. Yes, I'm just about to close out this session. I'm so glad to see you here. If you're really interested in this program today, you can catch the replay. I think it was a good one. I think we covered some really good aspects of spiritual practice, Neterian spiritual practice. So I will see you on Tuesday for American. Oh, I was saying Facebook has blocked me from going live on my other channel. So I'll be doing them all on this channel for a few months. And then later on, I'll go back to it. I have them split up to help me keep organized. That's the only reason. All right. So Dua Hattab, thank you so much for being here for this whole time. I can't wait to meet you and see what you're doing on your platforms. Peace and love. Thank you, Hattab. Thank you.